El Presidente.
There you go. Miss Kimberly Meadows Clark of HBCU Basketball Association.
Yes.
And this is not your first rodeo.
This is not my first rodeo at all. You already know that.
Yes. Yes. You've come a long way.
I have come a long way. God did it because it wasn't me. He brought me a long way, I guess, for a time like this. So, hey, I'm excited about what's about to go down.
Right. Because let's start out with your initial, how your platform that you started out initially and bring it up to date now.
So our initial platform, myself and my partner, is we had teams in the ABA. Um, and of course he has teams in Texas. He's also the owner of the NBLUS, which is the National Basketball League. And you'll find him in the Philippines, Australia, overseas. So he owns the United States division, and I have the surge in the ABA. So I've had my team for about 5 years. Kevin has had his team for I want to say, I know over 10. So he's been part of the ABA since 2010. I came in 2017. Um and my journey has always been a little different because I'm a female in a male space. I don't have any formal business background training. I pretty much learned everything from experience and people
Okay.
on hand.
Trial and error.
Trial, definitely trial and error. Um, and so my experience was different. So, my journey was a great one with the surge and still is as they evolve.
Explain the surge because everybody's surge.
Okay, so for those who don't know, the Magic City Surge is a semi-professional men's basketball team here in the city of Birmingham. We are currently a part of the American Basketball Association. We're not playing at the time in that league, as we explore other options, but we started there, so we are grateful for the opportunity.
Okay.
And as we're involving, we don't know what's next, but we're excited. I've had that team, like I said, for about 5 years. And it's just been amazing to see what we have produced on and off the court. My biggest motto is, our belief, I will say, is I believe in people exploring their dreams to lead to their purpose. And so we did that with our guys. There is no way on earth, I believe, that you have a desire or a dream or a goal to do something and you can be productive if you don't try it. So how can a guy desire to play professional ball and there's no type of outlet and it's going to always be in the back of his head that he won't be able to move forward in anything else because he's going to always, I wish I had.
Right.
So these semi-professional teams, if they're ran the right way, are a great foundation for young men, to keep them off the street, right? To keep them motivated and also for them to develop those skills that they
That's
need, character that they need,
Right.
um, and also for them to discover who they are and which direction they need to go.
Because
So,
going through this, you can have a dream
mhm,
and you really think that that's what you want to do, but once you've gone through the experience,
mhm,
you realize that, well, I don't want to do this part, but I want to do this part. It's totally different.
exactly. We have players that desire to play on another level, right? They realize they really like coaching. We had some that knew they were going to the NBA. They realized they were really good trainers. We have some that, they knew they were fine, right? But now they singing. So,
Right.
it's just, you never know where it's going to lead them.
Correct.
Are you? And, the greatest reward for us was to see God use us as a vehicle to allow these young men to walk into greatness. Did everyone figure it out? No, some are still figuring out. But guess what? A lot of them did. So that part of our mission we accomplished. The other only part of the mission that we didn't accomplish was making sure that these guys, when they left us to play ball that they leveled up. So this is why we're in a transition stage with the surge. Leveling up now is sending these guys overseas to play against a team from the Philippines. Let them stay a couple of days and come back home. That's the level up.
There you go.
You know, guys that never thought they ever would need a passport. That's the level up we're talking about now. So for our guys that are not able to play play in the HBCU component, they still have that outlet. We have some talented guys in Alabama
Yes, ma'am.
when it comes to sports. And, you know, I've watched how, you know, God has used me as kind of like a conduit of the
There you
semi
go.
professional
Yes.
field here. You know, we've had it for a while, and I think that it just kind of got more eyes on it when we became involved.
Right.
But it also allowed us to reach out to people we know to have them come into the space as well. So, you know, when I came in, I was like, I got a girl in Montgomery. Let me bring her in. You know, so reaching out, you know, the Alabama Knights, I'm so proud of, I think his name is Rodney. I'm not sure. But I'm proud of him. They're part of the TTBL. They're playing now during this spring, summer, whatever. And you know, I reached out to him to be part of a celebrity game I was putting together before COVID kind of shut it down. And he was like, "Hey, I want to be an investor in the surge." Well, I'm just like, "This me and my husband, baby," you know. But you know, you can get your own.
Right.
And so he was able, you know, it wasn't in the ABA, but because he came into that space, he was able to meet someone else to bring him into another league. So I encourage. I don't want ever want the markets to be oversaturated. That's what you don't want to do. So you have to be very careful. I advise people when you're looking for a team, see how many semi-professional teams are in the area. When do they play? Because you don't want to fight over players. You don't want to fight over time. You don't want to fight over space, and you definitely don't want to compete with the money. So make sure that you do your research. So I think that Alabama right now has almost enough semi-professional, especially the city between the greater Birmingham area, and Jefferson County. I think that we have enough semi-professional teams. Are there some other spaces in Alabama that could use more? Of course.
Yeah.
Um, just for the opportunity for guys that can't come and stay in Birmingham, that can't go stay in Montgomery, that can't go stay in Huntsville, that don't stay in Gadsden. So it's just, you know, creating those opportunities. So the surge is still here. Um, just kind of like the mother hen, you know. But we're just kind of expanding. As we expand, we open up more spaces for everybody else to kind of flow into the space that we were in.
But you give them an avenue too,
Mhm.
and it's like you've opened a door
Mhm.
or an opportunity that wasn't there to you. The opportunity, and you give them the experience that is required.
Mhm.
And I'm learning that everything what we consider as failure really is failure. It's a learning
It's
experience.
a learning
It's
experience.
just not your time.
Mhm.
And everybody's saying, they always use the Bible quote that, it's always time and all. But see, that transcends everything. Because just like what you said,
Mhm.
you knew what you wanted to do, but you didn't have the background experience.
Mhm.
But you had the determination, tenacity, and what you went through to get where you are now. It's hard-earned experience that you can't buy.
Can't buy it. You definitely can't buy
So
it.
during that time that you were learning and expanding, it wasn't your time yet.
It wasn't my time.
But once you've learned and you've got a good firm foundation, oh, it's the sky's the limit now because you know that just like you were saying, you don't want to oversaturate.
You don't want to oversaturate, and you need to find what's for you. Um, with the league that we have that we have started, the HBCU league. Um, I currently work for HBCU. I was a teen mom. I had scholarship opportunities for band. I was a majorette. I had academic opportunities, but I had a child in high school too. So I had to make a choice between my child and school. And 2 months before graduation, I withdrew. And I did not take any of my scholarships. So I want in Every scholarship I had was for HBCU because my grandma went to Morris Brown. My uncles went to Fisk. I had uncles that were professors at Howard University. Then I had on my dad's side, I had cousins that went to A&M, cousins that went to state, aunties that went to state, aunties that went to Miles. I mean, so
You were well embedded.
with HBCUs, and so it was
And
like
a wide range.
wide range. So all my choices, all my scholarships came from HBCUs academically and for band. So, I didn't choose them, but I always say in the back of my mind, when I get a chance, I'm going back to school.
Right.
And so life happened.
Yes.
Experiences happen. I'm glad for them. And I always tell people all the time, I cannot see, if you don't grow, there's no use to having any goals.
Correct.
Because if the goals that I had set forth for myself, I was not mature enough to handle them or complete them. So I'm grateful for growth, because now when I set goals, I can kind of understand, hey, okay, maybe that shouldn't be goal number one because I haven't grown in that space yet. Let me move that down to number 10. And in order to get here, I know I got to do this.
And you were a mentor for your son.
Huh?
Your child.
For my daughters, yes.
For your daughter.
Yeah.
And then with being daughters, watching their mom, you served as an example.
Example, yes. And it was, it was different. Myself and my oldest daughter, we grew up together. So the mom that she has now is not the mom that she grew up with, right? So it's different. With our 14-year-old girls, it's the mom, it's me. It's the matured me. But with the oldest one, it was we grew up together. I was a kid.
Right.
And I love it. I love it. It's weird because, she's like, Mom, it's like, I'm grown and you're trying to be strict. Like, it's different. Because I'm like, you don't need to do that. And she was like, I'm 26, Mom. I'm like, you're really grown. Like, I got to get out of that space. But going back to the HBCU league, with the league, just being surrounded by that Black excellence all the time and seeing what my family did in the spaces that they were in, it's just amazing. Like the history, especially on my mom's side, the history is just rich with the accomplishments of my aunts and uncles throughout the United States and out of the country, of some of the works that they have done.
People don't seem to understand that, yes, we are HBCU, but you can't compare this with Howard because two different classes.
Exactly.
And even though you have my state
and you to A&M,
and A&M, even though we're brothers and sisters, you still have so you had a wide range.
Yes,
of
but
philosophies and opinions coming from.
But I'm gonna tell you what was the core thing of it all: the culture.
That's it.
The culture of it all. I wouldn't trade that. I was at HBCUs like celebrating like it was my homecoming, because it was the culture, is what I saw.
Right.
The homecoming is the backyard party, right?
And the step show.
It's your uncle after a couple of drinks, dancing through the house. So I mean, it's the culture. So I even watched this documentary where in Africa, I forgot what part, but this guy, okay, they stayed in their village. And every weekend, his grandkids and kids would come back to the village. They had food, they had drinks, they danced. When they grilled, they had it was the culture, and that's what the HBCU is all about. So when this was presented to me from my business partner, it was like I couldn't think about anything else, because I was like, this is what my grandparents talked about. This is what one of my granddaddy's best friends when I was growing up was Jake Sanders from the Negro Baseball League.
Right.
He stayed in our neighborhood. And so I grew up with them, grew up with all these great people, and I just remember he used to tell me all the time, make sure that you do something great for us. Remember us, remember the culture. He used to say that all the time. So him and his wife, Miss Juanita. And I always kind of keep that in the back of my mind, that whatever I am doing has to represent Black excellence, has to represent the culture. And some people take the culture as a bad thing. No,
No.
it's not a bad thing. We always say for the culture. Yeah, because it is for the culture. That's what keeps us alive.
Yeah.
Our culture is so strong. It's so beautiful that people copy it everywhere.
And they don't even know.
They don't even know it, or they know it.
Been there, done
Or they know it. A lot of stuff stems from our culture and
that.
our
Right.
excellence. So why not?
See, when I went to state,
Mhm.
I went to state. I was doing volunteer work,
Mhm.
and so I graduated in '78. I was shift manager of Christmas Montgomery. You
Mhm.
know that Fairview have called in out.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was in the middle, and at 3 o'clock, all the black preachers would come. 3 o'clock Sunday morning,
Mm.
preachers would come and drink coffee,
Oh wow.
and so we had black preachers,
Mhm.
and then we had the individuals coming from the
The
club.
club. Probably
So,
from the rose.
and I was doing volunteer work over at
Like.
the group home, and it was middle school or junior high school,
Mhm.
and all the kids by the latchkey
Mhm.
or they would throw away,
Mhm.
and they always told me, "You don't know what you're talking about," and they were right. I had a shelter life.
Mm.
So foolish me, and I was foolish in that if someone tells you that the eye of a stove is hot, you don't have to put your hand on the eye. But see, I wanted to find out what they were talking about, so I rolled over at the state, and I came so
Mm.
going to state. My coming from Carver High School in Montgomery
Mhm.
set the foundation, but going to state established firm solid
Mhm.
in that with that culture, and I was back on campus. I lived on campus for 2 years. It was only right. So learning all of that, when you talk about the culture, brought up memory
Mhm.
because of being part of the SBA, going to the game, going to the homecoming, going to the dance, going to the Catholic, watching step show,
Mhm.
experience the first step show at Tuskegee.
Mm.
When you don't know about Greeks, down in Montgomery, the Greeks would have this barbecue,
Mhm.
and when they say Greek, the Greeks. But when you learn, and back then there were eight, there
Uh-huh.
were nine, there were eight,
Uh-huh.
and so being around it, being
Mhm.
embedded in it, being
Mhm.
soaked in it, it gave you better understanding of exactly what it was about. Because if you've never experienced a
And a deep
step show,
and a different type of love too.
I was in everything that they would allow me to be, and I am so blessed, fortunate that I had that love. Now I went through, I did go through a pledge period because I'm finding out that there's certain parts of Alabama that there's still separation.
Mhm.
Some blacks have never been experienced with white folks. So I remember being when I was walking on campus with the hair wet,
Mhm.
people bark like dogs. So
Oh
they
my
were,
god.
yeah. I had an orange thrown at me because I was talking to somebody's homegirl, and
Mm.
we were just friends.
Oh
And
wow.
they tried to put me up with this white girl who was on the volleyball team, who was more man than my dad. But anyway, we digress. So when you talk about the HBCU and you talk about that culture and how rich that that it's been, you have a better respect and a better understanding. When I went to Tuskegee for the first step show, right across from the Harvard Museum, I think it's next door to Dr. Booker T. Washington,
Mhm.
and it got dark. Now saw the sea of purple.
Mhm.
I saw the red and whites,
Mhm.
and I was with the Sigmas. I didn't know that then whoever you socialized, that's what you're
Okay.
supposed to say. So I was with the Sigmas and Zetas. So I saw the purple, I saw the red and white, and
Uh-huh.
I saw the Catholic. I saw all of this, and I went, okay. So the lights go dim, and a curtain is drawn. Here comes this gentleman out with a white diamond on his head,
Mm.
Catholic.
Mhm.
So the purple people,
Omega.
the Omegas, all of a sudden here comes this beer bottle, and whoever threw it hit the guy right in the foot.
Oh wow.
And you should have seen the flood of the purple and the sea of the red and white and sigmas and zetas. They went upstairs shed its own now. And to see these Omegas, and they were huge, big guys, throwing these little toothpicks out the window. I mean, literally throwing like, and they had these little guys had the staff to come back. And there was one guy who said, "Please stay outside." So to learn this and to understand the love that everyone has, you can't get any better. Mm-mm. So with you bringing this league here, and then you brought up a point. It's not just for Birmingham. This is Alabama. This is an entire Alabama.
So yeah, let's dive into that. So the HBCU Basketball Association actually started off as a team, um, that my partner owned, and when he reached out and was like, "I want to bring you on board to be a part of this. We just got to figure out what league are we gonna put it in." Well, I'm like, "Oh, it can't go there. That's not good enough." He was like, "Kim," he called me Kimbo. Kimbo, if it's up to you, it won't go nowhere. I'm like, it's just too special just to be anywhere. You're talking about a professional basketball team, HBCU, nothing but those. I was like, that they're gonna probably be the only team in that particular league that gets a full salary. I mean, you can't. Where you can't. It's so beautiful. Like it was just not good enough to go there. So we went back and forth. I'm talking about. Let me tell you. I was about on the phone all like hours, like all day, all night, like in the daytime, just going back and forth trying to figure it out. So one of his friends told him, he was like, with all the experience y'all have, why y'all just won't start your own league?
Wow.
And so he kind of brought it to my attention, and I was like, that's what we need to do. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm always the one that want to do like just step out and just say we can do it, right? So he was like, I don't know, Kimbo. I'm like, Kevo, come on now. We going back and forth. And we had it on the table. We began doing the paperwork. Backed out. I think all of us got scared because we knew it was bigger than us. And we wanted to know, why would we be responsible for this? Like, why is it us? Few weeks passed. Kevo called one night, had a long talk. He was motivated, and it wasn't no turning back. We're going to go and do it. I'm ready. I'm sure. You sure? I'm sure. I'm sure. I guess I'm sure. I'm not scared anymore. Like, let's do it. So here we are today. And the league is so important. I want to read the mission.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to read the mission statement. I think that will kind of, I can unlock the phone. So our mission is to create opportunities and build legacies through the influence of basketball by investing in the HBCU community and culture. We will at all times display our values of integrity, compassion, justice, peace, and service in order to pioneer a super culture in sports, community, and business. We're creating a super culture. Our HBCUs are suffering in record numbers, reduction of admission rate, retention rate, and graduation rate. There's no pipeline right now. Then our youth are suffering. They don't know their core GPA. They don't know stuff that they need to get into college. Right. They're not prepared to take the ACT and SAT. Our scholar athletes are not prepared. They think once they get an athletic scholarship, they're in. They don't understand that academics is the important part. If you don't have the academics, you just can't go play because they gave you athletic scholarship. Correct. There is so much going on behind the scenes that, it's more than just about this league. It's about us being here and making sure that we are effectively reaching back and pulling up. So, as you can see with our mission, the super culture is important because we are creating a new movement for the HBCUs. And we're hoping that through our works that God is allowing us to do, right, that we're able to increase admission rate, increase retention rate, and graduation rate within the HBCU. Also, we want to make sure that we know that in the Black community, $1 circulates for 6 hours. we want to see that increase in the works that we do, encouraging people to, um, if our sponsors, and all of our sponsors are not going to be black businesses, and that's not what we're saying, but we drive the economy. We we spend, I want to say 1 trillion um we dollars.
Trillion,
Trillion, so
not billion.
yeah, trillion, so we drive the economy. Well, we need to drive the economy with our community so we can get rid of blight, improve education, improve mental health.
Especially now.
Yeah, yeah, with everything that's going on, this is the time. We didn't know that the climate would start reaching this point when we dropped, but I think it's the time. I think that the works that we're about to do through this league is going to be so important, especially for the players. I know in over 20 years, and I'm I'm making sure that I say this because we had an incident where one person that we know was kind of upset because they were assuming I said that the NBA had never signed anyone from HBCU. That is not what we were saying. We were saying currently, in a while.
Right.
I mean, the guys that we looked up, it was in the 60s and 70s, I think they were in the HBCUs. This is 2022, right? So let me make that very clear. So currently, in the last over 20 years, there have only been two guys drafted to the NBA from an HBCU. One currently playing.
One.
Yes, he went to Tennessee State University. I want to say his last name is Covington. One currently playing. What did we just see in the draft? We saw some guys get drafted to the summer league. I hope that is going to give them the opportunity to advance, and I hope that what we're doing is going to encourage them to advance them. But then there's still players that need. I'm so sorry. That need that opportunity.
And exposure.
And exposure. And when we first started, we had 3 to 5 commitments. Now we're up to 17.
Get out.
And I'm telling you right now, these guys that have committed are powerhouses. And I can't, I don't. First of all, let me get y'all already know, Kimberly Sports Bay Clark. That is not my forte. My business partner is a super recruiter. He is the business of basketball. He knows that court. He knows all that stuff. I'm just the business component. I know how to structure the stuff, how things should look, blah, 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 handle the interviews, work on the mission stuff. That's me. But when it comes to the court stuff, like the players, that's him. And these players are amazing. Looking at their stats, looking at, just how they carry themselves, the colleges they went to, from Howard to Texas Southern to Southern. I'm sorry, I keep on saying Texas, to Southern. All over the United States, I want to say there are players that are trying to commit, looking to commit, or trying to figure out where is a draft or a combine. So I am excited about that end. I think the next thing that's special about this is, starting work, the states that we're starting. So, of course, Alabama, because we currently have the most HBCUs in the United States. We have the most. I want to say it's 14, and if they just added Shelton State, it's 15. So we have the most HBCUs in the United States. Yes, we will play in Alabama. The goal is to play in the city of Birmingham. There will be opportunities to possibly play at State, at Huntsville. We don't know. So I don't want to make a commitment to say, oh, we're going to play here.
Right.
We might play at A&M. We might play at State. The goal is to start the first season playing at these HBCUs. Because we're trying to get them some money, right?
Thank you.
Money and exposure.
Thank
right? You. Okay. So then you have Georgia. Hotlanta, of course. Gotta go to Hotlanta. Then you have Florida.
Yes.
And I'm gonna circle back to Florida in a minute. Then you got Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi.
No,
Gotta go with Prime at, right?
got to,
Then you gotta go to New Orleans.
baby. Yeah.
Got to. Then Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's hey, that's what my business partner is. So hey, we gotta
There
go to
you go.
Texas.
There you go.
And then Florida. What's gonna be so cool about this is that that's where the playoffs and championship will be in Miami. Yeah. So that's gonna be a great week.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the draft will be in Houston, Texas, the weekend before the Super Bowl. hmm And the
Oh,
season
man.
starts at the end of February. And we'll go to the end of May, and then the playoff championship will be in June. And then as we grow, we're looking to add 2 teams every year up to 5 years. So we're coming from the south, southeast, going northeast. Um, and as we grow, we're just gonna see. I can envision how great it's gonna be.
Oh,
Just the opportunity.
definitely.
These first 60 guys are gonna make history at the draft again at the tip off, you know. So, it's just as soon as their names are dropped, history.
Right.
So these guys are going down in history, and that is another component of why we felt this was the right space and time. Um, my partner and I, along with my husband, we all love history, especially Black history. So we were kind of on the phone Googling some, and we both end up putting up the Black Fives. Well, for those who don't know, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, it was the fives. That's what basketball was called because you had 5 guys on the court.
Get out.
Yes. Well, of course, there was not a space for us in that because we were Black. So, of course, us being the creatives that we are, we created the Black Five. So the Black Fives were mainly up north, and then I want to say the Midwest, sort of. But what's so amazing about the Black Five was that as early as 1904, they had a women's team,
Get out of
and they
here.
had more than 5.
No.
Yes, so women have been playing basketball since like 1904. And we have been in a space to own our own leagues and play professionally since the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we've been doing this a long time. Yeah. So when we found the Black Fives, we found this amazing guy named Claude Johnson, and he wrote a book. Him and Russell Westbrook are working on a documentary. Um, and the history is so rich and beautiful when it comes to basketball. So I want you all, and definitely you, I know you'll love it, to kind of Google the Black Fives
Please.
and look it
Oh,
up.
definitely.
But once we saw that, so let me rewind. Before that, back in April, what's it, April? March Madness, I'm sorry, March. I guess end of March, beginning of April, something like that. Yeah, it was April. First weekend in April. We went to Louisiana to the HBCU All Star game. And then, it was on CBS. And who put that on was Travis Williams. Another amazing like pioneer. Yes, that's it. Get the book. Another amazing, yes, another amazing pioneer in the HBCU space. So we went to that, and when we went to that event, that kind of like we left there, myself, my business partners, and our spouses. And it was good to have their spouses because I'm usually always the only. I'm the homeboy though, so
Right,
it's cool, right? But it was cool, and we talked the business of basketball. What was our next step? Um, and we were working on this. I cannot remember that restaurant we were at that was on the waterfront. Because I got to meet some guys that refereed in the NBA, some recruiters from the NBA. It was really cool. People, if people know me, especially when I don't mind meeting people. So I don't mind walking up saying, "Hey, how are you? I'm such and such." can I have your card?
Please, thank you.
Yeah, you know. Um, so that was kind of like the like starting to, it's cranking us up a little bit. But then when we read about the Black Fives, that just sealed the deal. It was like, oh, we got to. Like, it's no look. Our ancestors, this is the type of stuff they worked so hard for. This is what they marched for. This for us to be able to be safe in our space, to be able to love on our culture and promote our culture without any thoughts about it.
See, that's one thing that when I was taking Black history for African American history, I
Mm-hmm.
had a fantastic Dr. Norman Wall. Anyone who understands that you can't get any better than Dr. Wall.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the sense, and he educated me enough that people don't realize that in the Black community, it wasn't necessarily they wanted to be integrated.
Mm-hmm.
They just wanted the same effort that the white folks had.
Mm-hmm.
So as for integration, if that was not a question, they put the Black community. We don't really want to integrate with them. We just want what you have. We don't want your throwaway. We don't want. We want the same thing. We want the same benefit. Same. We want the money.
Mm-hmm.
So just leave it. Just give us what you got and leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
So with you coming up with this and knowing about the Black Five, you're solidifying everything where they started a female basketball team. There was no white female basketball team back then. So it all goes history repeats itself in that everything that we was started. You everything. I
Mm-hmm.
think it would be easier to say things that did, but where would you go?
Mm-hmm.
But you have the Black Five that started it,
Mm-hmm.
and now look, it's in your lap now to
Yeah.
expand the
Yeah.
history
Yeah.
and the political ramifications from this.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, our culture is inclusive.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what this is all about. Just being yes, it's our culture. We're promoting us, but it's inclusive. You know, a super culture is everyone working for the greater good of the culture.
There you go.
And it's not specifically our culture. It could be your culture, their culture. But everybody's working. We're hoping that this is a light and this is a catalyst for people to want to do good
There you
and see results and know that it's not about me. I still work a 9 to 5
go.
right now. It's not about me. I really do this because I enjoy it.
Right.
Is it going to get to a point soon where I won't be able to work a 9 to 5? I'm pretty sure. But I've been working tooth and nail to make sure I have a 9 to 5 because it keeps me centered and humble to realize it's not about me at all. It's not. And when I get in a space when I can go full throttle,
Oh, it's on.
it's on. So, and it's just making sure that we build a legacy and that we're helping the community. Like, I feel like we talk so much, but we don't do enough. And so it's just being in the right places at the right time. People are your resource, and sometimes that resource is not for you. I write down everyone that I can. If I can call you or text you personally, I can touch you. Then I say, okay, what do they do? Oh, okay, well, I know such and such needs help with this. Let me ask such and such if they don't mind connecting with them.
Right.
That resource might not be for me. It might be for someone else. And it's okay because that connection probably just gave me 20 more resources for myself. So it's just about making sure that we really are intentional about helping other people. We're really intentional about what we are doing in the space that we are in. I have made mistakes. I still am. I am learning along the way. I have been blessed with this opportunity, and we are going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that these guys are paid great. that their experience is wonderful, and this continues to grow and grow and grow.
What about financial when it comes to, you see a lot of high school going to make,
Hmm.
and they're not talking about finance, not talking about savings and all that. They belong to different.
Well, part of our HBCU pipeline includes all of that. So it definitely includes financial literacy. It definitely includes the education and mental health component. You know, we got sometimes, and we say it all the time, some kids are just not going to go to college.
Things.
Can we identify them early to put them on track so that let's not kind of wait to high school? You can really start in elementary, middle,
Right.
introducing them to things so that by the time they leave high school, they ready to go into their
There
trade.
you
They
go.
that keeps them off the street, keep them
Yes, ma'am.
busy. They got money in their pocket. We didn't taught them how to save it, spend it. Am I? I'm of course I'm not gonna teach it. I'm still working on myself. But we have people in place that can.
Right.
We know people in the city that can. We know people in the United States that can. Because it's not just this is not this is big. So Alabama is just I'm here.
Right.
That's why it's a part of it. I'm here. We have most HBCUs. Most of our business is conducted in Texas, in California. So, I'm just here.
Right.
It's a lot of Zoom calling and all that stuff and weekend traveling, for meetings, but it's all worth it when that draft starts
There you go.
the weekend before Super Bowl. That's going to be when it really hits the fan because I'm just going to be like, we really got this off. Like these guys are shaking hands, getting their jerseys, putting on their caps, smiling. So we're super excited for the experience, um, and excited to see what the guys are gonna do
Right.
along the way.
So do you have a schedule out? Or is that being formulated now?
So we have a schedule somewhat, but we'll release those. So we'll release the name of the team, the schedule, all that good stuff through the press releases, through our website, Instagram. Um, I know a lot of people have asked about investment opportunities and sponsorship. They should go to our website. We have a sales team, um, and they handle all of that. So you would definitely go to the website, and that's www.thehbcuba as in basketball association.com. And I think it's a contact us form that they would just click on, and it'll allow them to and put in any questions that they might have. Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
have to keep in mind that it's inclusive.
It's inclusive. It's for everybody.
So because
We 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 have always been in a space that our table is open for everyone.
you see,
Always.
that's one thing. That's just
Our table is open for everyone. Everybody can eat. You can bring some. You
the
can you can have a little bit of mine. I'll
right.
share. Our table is always open, so it's inclusive. You know, I know that we focus, but they need that space. Our HBCU players need a space for them to play professionally. Why
Yes, ma'am.
should they have to stop playing because they can't go to the NBA or G League, or they don't want to go overseas, or they are just maybe too talented for some of these semi-professional teams? So why should they stop
Right.
if it's not time yet?
You see that that's one thing that we have. What we experience
Hmm.
is not a kick. It's a learning experience.
Exactly.
It's just not time. But
Exactly.
if you're dedicated and you're motivated and you know that this is what you want, you're going to learn. And you feel if you don't continue,
Hmm.
but you learn as you go.
Hmm.
It's just like being a parent. You don't. There's no rule book on how to be a parent.
Hmm.
So it's trial and error.
Hmm.
And then with your experience from the beginning to where you are now, you're more equipped to know exactly what you need to do, what frameworks you need to do, what channels you need to go.
Hmm.
So that way you're able to pretty much the road is a little bit more smoother than it was before.
Exactly.
But you understand it, you know the signal, you know the flag, you know
Hmm.
all of that. Like okay, it's time to slow down because
it's all about your environment as well. You know, I have a great husband. He is like he believes in everything that I do. We've been knowing each other for a very long time, and I've always had like these great aspirations of great things. Did we think it was gonna fall into sports? No. But I've always had these ideas, thousands of notebooks with all type of stuff, and he's always believed in me. You also have to have those type of people around you at all times. You have to have your friends who's gonna keep it real,
Keep saying
keep you sane. You have to have those friends that can
yes,
that
they will hurt
definitely
your
not.
feelings.
Yeah. And you definitely have to have those friends that are your burden bearers, those that you can cry on, or that's going to definitely be praying for you. So it's just, surrounding yourself with the right people. For a lot of times I'm here, a lot of times I'm not, you know, but my friends are here. They're a call away. Usually, if I'm not here, my husband with me if he doesn't have a show. So it's just been amazing. It's just been amazing. I'm excited about what's next.
So, if someone has aspirations,
Hmm.
how do they get in touch with you to be a member of
Okay, so easiest 1, 2, 3. All they need to do is go to the website www.thehbcuba as in basketball association.com. Click on contact us, put in your information. Someone will be back with you. Make sure that you are specific about what you need so that we can make sure the right department um, handles you.
Right.
So if you're interested in investment, sponsorship, things of that nature, make sure you list that. If you're wanting me to come and do an interview, make sure you list that. If you're interested in playing, make sure that you list that. And somebody will be in touch. That's it. Simple as 1, 2, 3. I appreciate
So
you.
you know that
This is always open. You tell me all
always,
the
always,
time.
always open. I can make it if I have to come on Thursday. We'll come on Thursdays to make sure that the information is given.
Okay.
But
I will.
Smash Bros is here for you.
I appreciate it.
OZZz is here.
I know eyes is here for me. I appreciate it.
But because it's a travesty when, like you say, you have this, and to have this what if,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't seem to understand that what if is what usually prevents anybody from growing because you have that uncertainty,
Mm-hmm.
and for you to have this venue to give a chance to understand if this is what you want, I got you.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly. But they have to work hard too.
Right.
We're all working hard around here in these streets. Got to work hard.
And it's community based.
And it's community based.
And
it's inclusive. So, I mean, you can't beat that. Can't beat it with a stick. It's an avenue, and it's a big one, and it's a long one.
Right.
You just have to want to be a part. You just have to have the energy to participate. This is not going to be for the faint at heart. There's going to be a lot of traveling, a lot of practicing, a lot of interviews, a lot of media. This is real.
Right.
So those that become a part, we welcome them. They just have to be ready. We definitely will be looking for interns. So you have college students or high school juniors and seniors that are looking to understand the business of sports. This is a great way for them to learn. So I encourage students to definitely reach out for internship opportunities. Oh yeah, definitely. The experience is going to be great.
Because you're giving them a hint
Mm-hmm.
of what to expect when they make
Exactly.
it's no smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
This is raw.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need to expect.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be given.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you make it, you got to make
And one day of doing an event, an intern could possibly walk over 15 miles in one stadium.
Wow.
So like working like in that space. So yeah, gotta be ready to work.
I appreciate
I
'Cause
appreciate
I
you
know your
having me
schedule
come.
is busy
It
and
is. I
so
got to
you're
be
open
somewhere
for it.
shortly. I appreciate you letting me come.
So you have a Facebook page.
So yes, so if you can go to our Facebook, the HBCU League. Um, Instagram is HBCU Basketball Association, and just make sure that you're following, ask your friends to follow, share. Make sure you're following so you can stay up to date with the interviews, with the press releases, any news that we have coming up will definitely be on those pages. I appreciate you.
Please reach out if you are interested. We have this resource. It'll be on my Facebook page, be on HBCU page. So please reach out. Remember that know your value, know your worth, know that you are the one that creates everything around you. And most important, know that I love you more than I love my luggage. And I will see y'all Wednesday. Y'all take care.
That was a good interview. Oh.
Damn, pretty crook, that bitch hard as fuck. They were dancing and singing and moving to the groove, and just when it hit me, somebody turned around and shouted, "Play that funky music, why not? Play that funky music, right? Play that funky music, why not? Play that funky music, right? Play that funky music, why not? Play that funky music, right? Play that funky music, why not? Play that funky music, right? Lay down the boogie. Lay down the
The live stream on the show. On the show. The live stream. On the show. On the show. On the show. The live stream. The live stream.